A woman who prepares for divorce. A wife of noble character who can find. She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. Proverbs 31:10-12. A middle-aged woman I had never met before attended my Bible study group meeting. With her head lowered, she seemed to be lost in her thoughts. She sighed occasionally while gazing at me throughout the whole lecture. Then she began to weep silently. She kept wiping her tears. The topic of our study that day was why we get married. The purpose of getting married is to become a helper. A helper must be equipped with humbleness and meekness. Thinking about the flaws and mistakes of your spouse is not love, and a helper should not take such an attitude. I said that you could become a true helper only when you win the battle against your stubbornness, emotions, and selfishness. However, man naturally likes to receive from others rather than giving to others. And when you feel as if you are giving more than you are receiving, uncontrollable rage fills your heart and leads you to quarrel. Getting married means promising your spouse that you will help them no matter what under any circumstances. To help means to bear the other person's faults and weaknesses and to keep quiet about them. That is true love. Therefore, love covers over all wrongs. Proverbs 10:12. Her husband was a business owner. The business did not go well. He lost all his property and even ended up in great debt. That is when a rift began to take place and grow deeper in the relationship between the two. Financial breakdown was leading to the breakdown of the family. As she considered him to be an incompetent husband, her mind was now in turmoil with anger and hatred. She was always seized with the thought that she had to divorce him. Finally, she decided to get a divorce. She planned to do it quietly so that no one would notice. He seemed to sense her plan. The home atmosphere grew ever colder as the two never talked to each other. During the lecture, she thought about what kind of person she was. She realized that she had been a selfish spouse who never extended help but only wished to be helped. She discovered her cold-heartedness, which had been shaking off the husband's hand and not even reaching out to him to hold his hand and help him get back up when he could barely breathe because of stress and dismay. She felt as if he was standing alone in the wilderness, crying soundlessly from loneliness. For the first time, compassion and sympathy filled her heart. At the same time, she felt a heart-rending pain. She felt a sorrow. She realized that she hadn't been a good wife to him at all. She wanted to apologize to him. The tight knots of the decision to get a divorce was now untied. She prepared a nice dinner and awaited him to come home. He opened the door and silently walked in. She reached out to take his briefcase and said, "Welcome home, darling. Why don't you go wash your hands? Dinner is ready for you." Looking perplexed, he looked at her. She could feel that he wanted to ask her, "What's going on? Why are you so nice to me?" They sat at the table. It had been such a long time since they ate together that it even felt awkward. He coughed, trying to hide his awkwardness. She quietly ate her soup, pretending as if she didn't feel awkward. She never knew before that reconciliation was such a difficult thing to do. Finally, she began to talk. "I attended the Bible study today. As I listened to the deaconess lecture, I realized that I have been doing so much wrong to you, and I wanted to apologize to you and ask for forgiveness." She couldn't continue speaking. Tears kept flowing down her cheek. "No, honey, you have done nothing wrong to me. It's all my fault." He also choked up. For the first time after the bankruptcy, they had an in-depth conversation to share what had been in their minds. Both had a lot to say. One thing they found in common was that the level of pain and disheartenment from the bankruptcy was nothing compared to the one from the breakdown of trust and love between them. Not being able to love each other was indeed the most distressing thing. Even after the reconciliation, she experienced crisis many times. However, whenever she faced those times, she firmly decided not to think about her husband's flaws and called upon Jesus. Then heavenly peace filled her heart again. She experienced this repeatedly. As she fixed her mind and soul to Jesus and controlled her mind with a peace from heaven, her husband's business, like magic, once again began to sail smoothly. One day, her husband came to the Bible study meeting. She told me with a bright smile, "When he sees someone sick or struggling because of a broken relationship with their spouse, he suggests them to come here. People tell me that he strongly recommends this meeting to them, saying that I have completely changed." He also added, "She surely changed a lot. If she hadn't changed, we probably would have divorced long ago." It is really a miracle. I am amazed every time I think about how her character went through a complete change like that. She had become a partaker of the divine nature. The gospel proved once again to have the power to change man completely.